DOTE.
So another new feature of version 2 of DOTE is a much more flexible media player panel. Before we had just a primary and maybe a secondary video panel in version 1, which allowed you to play 1 or 2 videos. So what we've done is make a general media player panel. You can have as many media player panels open as you wish, playing any number of different video or audio sources. And what you see here is a simple standard layout that we have with our Lego demo project, and we have one media player panel, which is this panel here, and it's numbered number 1. It's got a source which is attached to the follow cues, and it's got a bunch of other new icons, and we'll explain what those are, how to manipulate them, how to add more video player panels, and then some configurations that might have certain interesting uses. So first, what we can see is the panel can be rescaled. So if we just move to the edge, we get an icon like this, which is an up-down arrow. We can move that up and down to change the horizontal border at the top there. If there was one at the bottom, we could do that if there was something else at the bottom, and we can do it also here at the vertical level as well, between this side, or if there was another panel here, then we could do it on this side. So you can always adjust the edges of any panel to make them larger or smaller. You can also move them around. So if we just unlock the panels, you'll see we get this little tab, and what you can do is drag that and then move it somewhere else and just let go. Let's say we want to have it over here, and you can have the video over here. Notice what this does is fill in the gap here. We'll make a huge timeline. You might not wish to do that, so we'll just move that back, move it back down to here, drop it down, and then adjust to get just the right amount. I don't want to have too much of the timeline showing for this exercise, and we'll just make that hidden again to get rid of those tabs. So you can move them around, you can drop them onto another tab and then have embedded tabs so that you can move between them or hide things. So that's the way that you can move things around. You can also shrink and maximize. So if you see this button here, maximize the media player, you can make it fill the whole screen, which is great for a presentation. And then if you press again, you can shrink it back down to where it was, and it will always go back to the exact same position. You can also do other things, like if you don't want to see these options because they take up a little bit of room, you can hide those. So you can make it just a very plain, because you know exactly how it's meant to be laid out. You don't want to choose any more options. If you want to see it again, then you can just expose it again. So it allows you to play around with the positioning, the scaling, maximizing, as well as hiding some features. Also, you see it's got every media player panel is given a number. We only have one open here, but a bit later we'll see when we have more than one. This one is number 1, so it's the basic one. And then we have the possibility for a media file to choose. And if we look in Media Manager, we'll see this particular project has 6 different active video files, or 1 audio file and 5 video files, which are all activated. If you have the free version of DOTE, that won't be true. You'll only have 2, because that's the maximum you can have activated. But here you've got all 6 of them, and those are available. It's currently grayed out because we're following video cues here, and that means we're following, if I open this here, we're following these particular video cues that change the camera or the pan or the zoom level according to what things we're interested in the original video or the original event. If I move it to save to video viewport, which is a sort of saved view, it jumps to another which I've selected earlier, and here I can choose any one. I could choose, for example, the Insta360, that one there, or I could choose just to play the audio, and then we just get the audio icon. So I'm just going to go back to the GoPro here that's on the table that shows this angle. And what we'll see, no matter what we choose here, that because we have in the timeline follow lowest media panel, that means follow whatever is selected in the lowest numbered media panel. So if you have other ones open, then it will always take from the lowest. So if you have 3, 4 and 5, because you've got rid of closed the panels for 1 and 2, then it will choose from 3, so it's the lowest. You can also click here and say follow only media panel 1 always, for example, or follow only a certain video or audio source always. And that's for the waveform that shows here, and you can do that for the audio source. This just tells you here, these two icons, that this is being tracked. And whereas here, if I shift this to this, you'll see it disappears. It's no longer following the waveform. And if I change the audio source to this one, then you see that disappears. So only when I've selected either media player 1 or follow lowest, meaning it will always choose the lowest one, which is often the best strategy, and then always work with the lowest media you have open as being the one where it's sourced, then you see it returns there. So, and if we go to free view, then everything is identical, because this allows you to move and change things around. Just temporarily, I can just sort of look in, or I can actually zoom in, for example, and look here. It's on the table, the Lego demo kit that they're trying to build into the model. And then when I go back to here, it goes back to the saved version, or to the video cues. It goes to whatever the video cues are. So this allows you to quickly move between 3 different ways that the video panel, the media player panel, will show a video source. Of course, if you have an audio source only, then this is not going to be so helpful, because it's only audio, there is no image. Okay, so what you can also do is pan and zoom, and I already showed you that for the saved or free view. If you do it in video cues, like I just zoom in, you notice you get this dotted red line, and then a cancel, discard button, and down here a save to video cue. And what this does, as we can see, we're at the beginning of the event in the video recording. Then we have a video cue here that sets up this camera and this view. If we wanted to prefer it to start here, which is not so interesting, but let's just say we make it line up a bit more with what's on the table, and maybe the faces, that would be enough. We could save here, and that would save it for this particular video cue. It's the one just previous to where the playhead is. So if we were up here, for example, it would change the one for here, which is one that will zoom in a particular way. Okay, so if we just play, I'm just going to discard that, because we're in a temporary state there of, do we really want to use it? That's why it was showing it continually. If I go here, you'll see it should be this shot and this camera, this zoom level, and it would have replaced that with what we had before. So it's a temporary state that stays there until you decide to cancel, discard, or save. So that's a special new feature there that makes it very quick to change a video cue. And notice when you hovered over it, it would have said changing the previous video cue. It's not the one that's coming, it's the one prior to where the playhead is. Okay, so that's some of the basic features of one media player panel. If we go to the panels and layouts, you'll see we have some default layouts, and one of those is just with 2 media players on its own, which means that nothing else, and that's good for a presentation. Maybe if you want to show 2 different camera angles in a conference or a data session. Or you can choose just the standard as we have here, but with 2 media players or 4. If I choose with 2, you'll see we've got 1 and 2. This has already been set up before with a media player panel 2. And this is a standard configuration, or we could say, no, we'd like to see 4. And if we choose that, we see 4 different examples, where each one can be cued to follow the video cues. It's usually best to choose number 1 for that. And then the others can be some sort of saved view or free view, allowing you to switch around the sources and zoom in and out as you wish, and play that at the same time as the others. So if I play now, you'll see every video player is playing. Once you get to 3 or 4, depending on your computer, if you get up to 6, 7, 8, it's going to have real trouble playing multiple files with different video sources at the same time. So you might get a bit of stuttering. Otherwise, it can play on a good powerful machine like a Mac with a Silicon M4 or M5, the latest processor, then it should be able to play 4 easily, and the same on Windows if you've got a NVIDIA GPU, for example, dedicated for that sort of thing. So a gaming laptop or a gaming computer would do it as well. So we don't want to maybe look at 4. Let's just go back to looking at 1, the standard. And I'm just going to move this up so we just get that. We don't need to see so much of that. So we've got 1. Let's say we want to add one ourselves or make our own configuration and save that as a layout. What you can do is if this is our current media player panel, we can unlock it. But even if you don't, if you say add a new panel and you add a media player, you see it opens up that tab and says, okay, you've got a second tab there. It could have added it somewhere else as well, depending what you were working on. And that means that you can drag off and say you can move it down to here and have the second one as we did before. Or now you can see they're all locked again. If I unlock, I can move this, for example, over to here and have one over on this side as well as the one on this side. I can move it into a tab here to hide it, so I can switch between the transcript and the media player panel that I've put here. So let's just say we put it back down to here. Then we've got something similar. You see, you might have to do a little bit of adjustment to get the right level, and then you want to make them hide them so they're no longer movable, so you get a bit more space. You might also want to hide the extra options here. That can be done quickly also from panel actions by either collapsing all optional panel controls or Zen minimize, for example, and that gives you a bit more space as well to see things. So what you can do is also use other configurations, and I have saved 2 of my own here just for illustration. This one, if I choose that one, is saying, well, you say you've got a bunch of cameras, and we do. If we look in Media Manager here, we'll see we've got 5 different camera views of the same event and 1 audio recording. So I want to see maybe as many of those and focus on different aspects of the scene, because one of the women here at this table playing this game is running to another table, and you see it's going to be hidden behind. You can't quite see it yet until she runs. And you might want to show what's happening at that table at the same time as would you see what the other 2 who are left behind are doing. And here I wanted to center the transcript and the player, so you can move these around as well and make your own configuration. This might be very useful if you've got multiple things you want to be looking at the same time. And then this one here is a sandwich model saying, okay, I want to have the video cues that I'm following. I'll have that one in the above, because that's where the video cues are on the timeline. You can hide those or show them. And at the bottom I'll have a saved or free view, which is not a video cue basis one, and I can add more here if I wanted. So this gives a basic way of trying to semantically position a layout that could do certain types of work for you, like focusing on video cues while also monitoring something else, but you need the transcript, versus going to just 2 media players that will only show you. And I'll just make it that you can only see 2 sources at the same time, and you could choose, for example, a panel action Zen. And if you do that, you'll see it makes as much space as possible, removes as many of the ribbon bar as possible, and also minimizes any options. So you get a lot of space here to see 2 things going on at the same time. Which you see, in this case, when she runs, one of them will track running and show, and you can see what she's doing and expecting the model at the other end of the room while they are looking over at her, and then they start talking and thinking about what they're going to be doing when she comes back. We can watch both at the same time. Okay, I'll just go back to the standard and say, hopefully you'll see this is a very flexible system now. You can have video panels anywhere. You can rearrange the whole layout, which you couldn't do before, and you can have as many open as you wish in different positions and tracking different sources. And you can decide to follow the video cues if you wish here. They're turned off just automatically when you just take up the standard. You can open it up there. And you can also look at a saved view and a free view. There is also, notice here, subtitles. So I haven't talked about that. We have a separate video about using subtitles, and that you'll see allows you to enable and choose and then color them and position them exactly as you wish. I won't do that right now. And so that's the subtitle form. If I just go to panels and layouts and say I want to see everything again, and just make less movable, then you'll see we get everything back and the full description there. as well as a full description of most of the buttons and other options which we had minimized in the Zen mode before. So hopefully you'll find that a really attractive proposition to use these in your research and transcription. We really like it, and it makes it very, very flexible now to work with video.